Hello folks, welcome to this week's edition of the Satori Traders Precious Metals News. Happy 4th of July. This might be our shortest video yet because I'm on my way to fireworks here shortly. Let's jump right in. Let's see. I covered gold in the other video this week. Just briefly, in the monthly time frame, we are still working on the right shoulder of this head and shoulders pattern. I'm still expecting this 2357. That's our target for 2021. Let's see, in the weekly time frame, this is a 62% Fibonacci retracement. We've got mostly sideways kind of bumpy action. This is a bullish doji candlestick with that long lower tail. This is gold in the daily time frame where we've bounced off of the 1770 level. Basically, this initial plunge took us to 1770, and now we've tested it a second time and appear to be rising off that level. Now, what's really the most bullish part of this chart is MACD. You can see that we've reached this oversold level down in MACD. Histogram is hinting at a resume uptrend, potentially a new crossover buy signal there shortly. Got energy coming up out of the basement. This is silver in the monthly time frame. Bullish action here. Definition of an uptrend, higher highs, higher lows, which is exactly what's going on in silver. I mean, it's by pennies, but technically this is a higher high than here. And so even in the monthly time frame, we are still in an uptrend in silver. Just keep that in mind. And the target is up here at, 40-ish. This is silver in the weekly. We've got this impulsive move that silver did. This is in 2020. We get this big impulsive move in silver that forms the flagpole. If you want to look at it from a pattern perspective, this is a flagpole, and then this is the flag. And so, the price target we get from that pattern is basically we duplicate the size of this move and we add it to the breakout point. And so I don't know, what is that? $12 and 28 is that 16. And so if we throw another 16 onto that, we've got 38, 42, 44 maybe. Count, yeah, carry the knot, as Jethro Bodine would have said. Let's keep rolling. This is silver in the daily time frame. And so we ran into resistance at the end of this past week as we came up into, this is well, here you can see it. It's an Andrews pitchfork drawn all the way back in the start. That's January of 21. And here we can see that price is still, or appears to still be reacting at this median line extension of this Andrews fork that was drawn, heck, that's a year and a half ago almost at this point. And so anyway, with Friday's close, we can see that Friday we closed, we pushed up through that level, and then now with today's action, of course, market's open right now, so we've got this bullish doji forming above this median line as a potential support level. So looking good in the daily silver. These are the mining stocks. This is GDXJ in the weekly time frame. Yes, that's the weekly time frame. And I use this as my proxy for the mining sector in general. And I've modified this channel. Obviously, I've pulled the lower boundary down and I'm being bullish. This is obviously my bullish bias kicking in, where I'm expecting that to be the bottom. Famous last words. So far, we've got a lower wick there on that doji candlestick, which is bullish. Let's see, that's the red is the 10-week moving average is still below the 40. So we don't have a crossover buy yet. But so far, we do have a higher low. So we got this double bottom back in early, that's the spring of 21, got this double bottom. And if this does turn into a bottom for the GDXJ, we will have a higher low, which, definition of uptrend. Let's keep rolling. GDXJ in the daily. So we've got, price has, it's bottomed off a support level. It's not a super strong support level, but we did find a support and bounce, have bounced up into a resistance level. Volume, this is it's never bullish when you see price doing this, other than, it is, trees don't grow to the sky. So we do need pullbacks and corrections. That's part of a healthy market. What we want to see in an uptrend is that when price does correct, volume decline. And so that's exactly what we're seeing here in the mining stocks, is that when price corrected here, volume declined. And so that's a good thing. In the silver mining stocks, they're looking pretty good too. Pretty much the same story as GDXJ. We can see that we had a support level here at it's 43.30 or thereabouts. We've bounced now off of the prior low with that doji candlestick, and now we're running into resistance at that horizontal support resistance level, 43.30, and the 20-day moving average is involved as well. We've got hints at bottoming in MACD. Energy, you might say that it was rising a little bit off of the bottom there, still certainly depressed. Wanted to get that out of the way just to clean this chart up a little bit. And I don't really see anything new. Let's keep rolling. This is the dollar, and of course the precious metals sector has had a strong headwind from the strength in the dollar. And so we can see, in the weekly time frame, that's, 1, 2, 3, working on a fourth week in a row now where the dollar's been strong. And of course that was a big impulsive movement. MACD still on a buy signal and rising up towards the bull mode. Energy stochastics obviously elevated, appears to be rolling over a little bit. Obviously price, or the dollar, it's running into the median line of this Andrews pitchfork as resistance. Also potentially have resistance at, this is the second extension median line of this shift pitchfork in this downtrend. So anyway, it's not going to surprise me to see price poke its way up to 93, maybe even 93.50 before this trend gives up, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. That is the daily time frame. So in the last week, we got this really bullish action in the dollar. But notice that all we've done is we've pushed up to, that's that median line extension, and then rolled over. It's also at with the Fibonacci extension tool, we got a 62% extension of this impulsive movement. And I'll draw that because we don't often get, let me delete that one, and now we'll draw a new one. We don't often get a extension that's as pretty as this is. And so what I'm picking is the most impulsive part of this price movement. And remember, when we're looking at or trying to make a judgment on impulsive price movement, we can look for several things. And in this case, so we've got a wide-ranging bar. Based on only looking at the candlesticks that are on our chart currently, this candle in particular is a wide-ranging bar. So notice how it is larger, wider in range than just about any other bar on this chart. I mean, there's one that might compete, and there's two. So, those three bars you might describe, maybe there's a fourth. That's clearly a wide-ranging bar on this chart, and didn't close near its high. But with this big impulsive movement, pushed through resistance at the 50-day moving average and then pushed up all the way into resistance at this median line and through this support resistance zone. So, a lot of energy was expended for the dollar to do that. And then follow-on movement. So now we've got the dollar above the resistance support level. And again, price closing near the high of that candle. Another big push takes us through the 200-day moving average. And then a third. Now here's another bullish continuation of this move. And so overall, this is a very high energy impulsive price movement. And when we are applying the Fibonacci tools, Fibonacci retracement, and in this case, Fibonacci extension, they are most accurate when we apply them to impulsive price movement. So in this case, we've got a 62% extension of this impulsive price movement, which coincidentally is that median line extension as well. So anyway, that's an interesting movement in the dollar. MACD full-on bull mode, both indicator lines above zero, energy obviously elevated. No reason that we would not expect this movement to continue. Let's look at MACD. Now MACD is fairly overbought. No, it's not fairly overbought. MACD's overbought. And so, might expect and already seeing signs of MACD rolling over, very overbought on a MACD level. So maybe we've got a little bit more sideways bumping or maybe even a little bit more pullback in the dollar. But all in all, the dollar is looking strong. This is the 10-year note in the weekly time frame, and it's more of the same. We're just kind of bumping along. This is the 38% Fibonacci retracement level. I call it a zone because it's in there. Pull back. Again, this is a impulsive movement in this vehicle, and then a 38% Fibonacci retracement, and assumption would be a bullish continuation of this move at some point. If we drop down to the daily time frame for the 10-year note, we can see that potentially we're coming down to a support level both at this is the lower median line of this modified shift pitchfork, and then it's also this horizontal support resistance level. And so we'll see what happens when we get down there. But I'm assuming that we will get to this level. That would be our next target from Andrew's pitchfork perspective. We would be betting on, or if we were traders, we would be trading based on that being our target. So Bitcoin, I've just been watching lately. The volume action continues to be consistent with a downtrend, in my opinion. So in this latest action where, you can see we've got a bounce off support, which coincidentally is a triple bottom, or we could call it a triple bottom. But notice with this bullish price trying to rise, that volume is dropping. And so that is not an indication of an uptrend. That volume behavior is indicative of a downtrend. One of the things that I'm watching, one of the reasons that I'm watching the crypto space, and Bitcoin is my crypto for the Bitcoin space, there is a bunch of money sitting on the sidelines that would like to be invested in the crypto space. And I saw something that just this week, $1 trillion or more that potentially wants to come into the crypto space. So regardless of what you think of crypto, there may be a large investment demand that will drive the sector. So I'm keeping an eye on Bitcoin, but so far that is not bullish. What is bullish is the equities, obviously. This is SPX, big move last week. Big move last week where price has pushed through resistance at the upper median line of this Andrews pitch and then followed through on Friday with this big bullish candlestick that closed very near the high of the day, which, that in and of itself is bullish, an indication of high energy. We've got MACD full in bull mode, both indicators above zero, obviously on a buy signal, energy very elevated, it's almost as elevated as you can get. So very bullish action in SPX. And then one of the things I was noticing as well is that we were talking about MACD, it's not a bounded indicator, but there tends to be a ranging effect where prior highs and lows will act as the boundary. And so in this case, we've got quite a ways to run with MACD before we get to this prior high where we might become overbought on a MACD level. So a very bullish action in SPX. The Dow bullish as well, but only managed to reach prior highs at this point. Now potential, we've got a buy signal, and now we've gotten both indicator lines are above zero at this point. So MACD in a bull mode, which indicates or suggests that the primary trend is upwards. And then of course, stochastics or energy has reached the elevated level. So bullish in MACD. Thursday and Friday, we can see that price pushed above the median line of this Andrews pitchfork. And of course, that's bullish. From an Andrews pitchfork perspective, our price target, we'd throw it out here at, what is that? 35,600. So if I were a betting man, I'd be betting on 35.6 in the Dow. And here in the Nasdaq, another bullish chart we got pushed up into, that's probably Monday, I think. Let's see, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday. So pushed up through the median line of that Andrews pitchfork and then sideways bumping. And then Friday morning, we get this big bullish. We start with a bullish gap upwards, and then it looks like price has closed darn near at its high. So very, very bullish action there price-wise. Price action is bullish. And then if we look at MACD in bull mode and on a buy signal, but notice that in contrast to SPX, in the case of NASDAQ, MACD is pushing up into overbought levels. So it might be reasonable to expect some either pullback or some sideways action, maybe another test of this, the median line, fill that open gap, and keep in mind that we have left an open gap there, which of course is bullish. That's bullish if price can maintain that gap going forward. Energy is certainly elevated. Let's look at oil. Brent is my proxy for the oil sector. And at this point, we're kind of capped. We're bumping along here. That's, 76-ish. That's a mouthful. Price finding support along the median line of this Andrews pitchfork. I pushed our target a little bit higher. I still think that this $80 round number is our real target. From an Andrews perspective, we'd push it a little bit higher. We'd probably be looking at 80.50 or even 81 as our next target. That's all I got. Again, happy 4th. Make lots of money, folks, but don't forget to enjoy life. That's why we're making money, is so we can enjoy life. I'm going to go have 4th of July fun.